Greetings, friends. I know it's been a long week. We're back with another episode of the Level Cap Podcast. Welcome as you join me, Brad Talton Jr., and my co-host, Marco DeSantos, as we delve into the depths of everything Level 99 and otherwise.
Yes, welcome. Welcome to our brand new theme for this podcast, where we take a more laid-back nature and give you some sweet, relaxing vibes here on the world of Indians. How are you, Brad?
I'm doing well, Marco. Just sipping some wine, listening to some chill jazz, ready to talk about games.
Excellent. I, on the other hand, have been also listening to indiscriminate jazz, drinking indiscriminate spirits, and ready to talk about everything level 99 games or otherwise.
I don't think we keep this up for too much longer.
Slowly turns into ASMR.
The level 99 Jazz Club lounge, game jazz lounge.
The game jazz lounge
Someday.
The Breakfast Club.
Someday happen.
Oh my gosh. We're the Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Actually, we're the Lunch Club. We're a bit late to the party.
It does kind of come out at lunch, at least over here.
Oh yeah, it does. All right, no. But that aside, Brad, how are you actually? I mean, I doubt you're actually listening to jazz.
I'm doing really well. Life is good. All's well. Yesterday, we do our playtesting on Tuesdays right before I come in here. So I'm happy to report that we had a really good playtest of 7th Cross V25. So I'm very excited about that.
Is it reaching that point? Is it reaching the point?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
We're very close. So anyway, it's super exciting. I'm pretty excited.
Oh, man, I'm excited for you too, because if you finish the game, that means I get to play it.
Oh, yeah. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
you gotta get people together though. Like it takes like 4 or 5 people to play. I guess you can use Tabletop Simulator too.
Oh, Tabletop
Maybe
Sim.
that's the next step.
Yeah,
it's probably the next step is to get a Tabletop Sim mod made.
Yeah, I think that'll be pretty good, right? Because it's really hard to get 4 physical people together, but 4 internet people, that's easy.
Yeah, well maybe we should play a campaign online. So that was the big innovation for V25 is the campaign system, how the game saves your progress and moves you forward along the storyline.
Oh, so between play sessions...
Yeah, like your characters will develop, they'll have their own side quests. NPCs you meet will remember how you treated them the last time you met them. Sometimes you'll meet people and they'll spawn new castles for you to explore, or sometimes your characters will take certain paths, sometimes characters may die, all sorts of stuff like that.
Oh, that's so cool.
So yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
This is starting to make me wish I could make my own character.
Well, I don't know if we'll offer that this time around because the characters in this game are pretty complex.
Sad life. Or maybe that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a reason things like this are to happen.
Yeah, I mean, you can always make your own character and put it up on BGG and put it up in the fan community. And I love to see that kind of stuff. It's really cool for me when people extend games and add new characters and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I was making custom characters before we started this podcast. So in case you were wondering what I was doing, that's what I was doing, making Exceed fan characters.
There's a BattleCon character or 2 in all of us.
Oh my gosh, that is so inspirational. Oh. All right, Brad, let's move on to our first segment. Before we start bringing people to tears with how inspirational we are, let's talk about the Game Club game of this week.
Yeah, so Game Club game of this week was Momodora, Reverie Under Moonlight, which I believe is the 4th game in the Momodora series.
Which I didn't know this game series existed before this
Me
one.
neither. I just saw it on Steam, and I was like, oh, it's a Metroidvania. Okay, cool. Because I'm trying to play through all those. So I grabbed it.
So tell us what Momodora is.
Yeah, so Momodora is like an Metroidvania exploration, map exploration game.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, how do you say it? It's certainly the kind of game that you can beat in 1 or 2 sessions. Like the whole thing is about, um, 5 hours long tops.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I can agree with that.
the So it's very much kind of reminds me of the first game we talked about, SteamWorld Dig, in that it's very much exactly what it is and nothing more. You go through it and you play it and then you're done.
Yep.
But I enjoyed that level of compactness and that kind of self awareness of not trying to be more than you are. And this game is a nice it's a fun way to spend the afternoon. So
Yeah, it was a fun way to spend the afternoon. I think the main qualm I have about this, which I guess is just testament to the fact that the game understands what it is the save system. It's the thing I hate about the game the most. Like I love a lot of things about this game. I love the controls; they're tight. I love it whenever you attack something. Like whenever you attack something, the screen shakes at the sheer
oh yeah,
force of your
it
attacks.
feels good. But I thought the save system was great. I don't know why you didn't like this.
Oh, because there's a lot of like instant death spikes.
Well, so the save system in Momodora is, you run by a bell and you just hit the bell on your way to the next screen
Yeah.
and you're saved. Um,
So
but yeah,
yeah, but it's
so
only
what's wrong
saved
with
when
that?
you whack those bells. So if you die before reaching the next bell, you lose all progress.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like Dark Souls where you can pick up what
Yeah.
you dropped or anything.
So
Like you die, you lose the progress, you go back.
yeah, you go back.
Um,
It actually just loads
yeah.
up your save file. So
I mean, it's a bit more classic in that sense, but there's not a lot to like. This isn't a game where you gain levels. This isn't a game where money really means that much because there's
yeah,
like 8 items in the game, um, and
definitely.
most of them are pretty niche usefulness. So I don't know there's any point to having a ghost in this game.
Oh well, it's not the
And I kind of felt the
ghost.
same in almost in Hollow Knight too. Like if you had the ghost that you had, the only thing you cared about was your geo, and that pretty much
Infinitely
like once
farmable
you got to a certain
anyway.
yeah once you got to a certain point in the story, it was meaningless. So
Yeah.
I don't know that level of Dark Souls, like hey, can you get further this time? Really
Oh.
mattered
But
too
that's not
much
my
for it.
problem with it. My problem with it is that all NPCs and cutscenes
Yeah,
aren't
okay. The
triggered.
cutscenes, the non-skippable cutscenes, like
Yeah.
you can skip them if you pause. These cutscenes will skip.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh gosh,
Hmm.
great. So
If you pause in the middle of a cutscene, it just powers through.
yeah, so that's the thing.
Skips
Like
to the
if a
next part.
boss has a particularly long tirade before their boss fight, like not even like a minute long, like in JRPGs or something, but like you have to like click through like 6, 7 screens of text. It's like it weighs on you because this game isn't easy. It's pretty hard. Like some of the bosses can two shot you. Well, most of them. The first boss literally two shots you. So like
Mm.
you can end up dying to the same boss over and over again, and then reading the same dialogue over and over again, and then if there were like
Yeah.
three NPCs between the last bell and the boss, you have to talk to all those NPCs again, and it
Okay.
yeah. So
But there is a skip feature. There is a skip feature
I
in the
didn't
game.
know. It didn't
So
tell me. It wasn't on the
there you go.
screen.
They're pretty good. They're also pretty good about putting a bell in front of every boss. I didn't
Yeah,
have like there was only one boss I encountered where I was really surprised that there was a boss coming up.
I got so frustrated because I beat the witch boss Lulabelle. What's her name?
Yeah,
Lulabelle.
Libella
Yeah,
something.
yeah. So you could go to the left or to the right. Going to the right brings you to the bell. Going to the left like shows you this like wide river or something, and
Yeah,
it has an item for you at the
yeah.
ledge. So I took the item. I was like, okay, great. But prior to that, in
You,
Lulabelle's dungeon, before you reach Lulabelle, there was a segment wherein there was reflecting water, and you had to go into it to progress to the next screen, right?
yeah.
So when I reached that place, I saw the lake that was reflecting me. I was like, okay, so this must be like that. I jumped into it and then died and had to redo the boss fight.
Uh, so yeah, it's that Libella boss fight. The I don't know exactly how to say it, but the this boss's imagery is a little I don't know.
Yeah,
It's kind of strange,
it's
a little
risque.
risque, I guess. and and you have to fight this character, and then and I was playing this, and my wife comes in and she's like, what kind of game is this, Brad? um, and I was like, it's just this boss, like it's this weird Japanese style game. There's this weird boss. It's
Sorry.
just this one boss though.
Oh my
Um,
gosh. Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
yeah.
she's like, whatever, and she makes fun of me about it. And then but it turns out you actually fight this boss twice, and
Oh.
the next time she walks in, I was fighting the boss again, and, and hilarity ensues.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, then it was really hard for me to convince her this is not just a game about
Metroidvania.
weird risque bosses. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. There should be a game. There should be a game that's just about weird risque bosses. Oh wait, there
No,
is
no, no. There's already too many games like that in Japan. I promise you.
Sexy Parodius, right? Is that what it's called?
I guess. I
Parodius.
don't know. I
I'll
don't know.
send you a video of Parodius. But anyway,
No.
uh,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. Okay, no, but that's why I was telling you that it's a good thing that the game understands itself, right? That it's a compact, short experience. Because
Yeah.
I firmly believe that if the game had been like any longer, their save system wouldn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think it was just the right length that going back through the castle wasn't a big hassle.
Yeah.
And really, like, I didn't really realize till about 75% through the game, but you're meant to play this game like you're doing a speed run. Like, Momodora is supposed to just, whack monsters and then run by, or like jump over anybody that takes too long to kill.
Yep.
You have a dodge roll, you have a double jump right off the bat, which means you're supposed to be playing kind of more acrobatically
Yep.
than combat focused. And I didn't really get it. I was like killing every enemy I encountered
Oh,
until
I see.
like much later in the game. But once I started seeing like, oh, I can just run through this and like dodge, and, like dodging is just as much a tool as fighting. The game got a lot more interesting. So if you are listening to this and you want to play Momodora, I would say don't try and kill every monster. Just kill the monsters that are convenient,
That are in your way,
and
right?
you'll have a better experience of it.
I think I had the advantage here because I had actually watched other people play Momodora. And it just so happens that all of the people I watched were speedrunning it. So I think I
I
subconsciously.
think it's a good game for speedrunning.
Oh, yeah, it is. I think I subconsciously adopted a lot of their speedrunning tactics. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
So would you recommend this one to folks?
I would recommend this one if you like execution heavy, not execution heavy, but games that reward your good execution. And if you like games that are really pretty looking.
Yeah, it is pixel, but it's really pretty pixels.
Yeah, really pretty looking.
I would say just watch the trailer on Steam, and if you think that this is the kind of game you'd enjoy, then then you probably will.
Yeah.
If you look at it and you're like, I don't think I'd enjoy this, then you almost certainly won't.
But don't look at the
and
screen.
that's really all there is to it.
Don't look at the screenshots section on Steam. Please don't.
No.
Because all of them is just
Misleading.
pictures of the Lulabelle boss fight. I'm not even kidding you.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, all of it is just pictures of the
Well,
Lulabelle
then you can
boss
go look at the boss fight and see what we're joking about.
Yeah, let's just say that Capcom has a lot to be worried about. No, because a lot of Capcom boss fights have you fighting. It's exactly like that boss, wherein
It reminds me of the Mega Man 2 boss.
Exactly,
The giant
right?
robot. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on from Momodora and get on to our next segment.
Momodora, wherein you're a priestess hitting things with a maple leaf, to our character of the week, who is not a priestess. I'm not sure. Is she?
Kind of.
Kind.
of.
Who's
I
our
mean,
character of the
yes. Our character of the week is following our trend of characters from Argent. Is Ray Cal. Ray Cal is the Department of Divinity Vice Dean. She is the candidate for that department, the A-side candidate for that department, and is a Virion, which are the angel people who come from the celestial plane.
I love how you
in
just call
Indies.
them angel people.
It's the easiest way to explain it. Yeah.
People with wings.
Yeah, they have wings. The number of wings is kind of what their status is in the celestial plane. Ray has two, so she is kind of not what's the word? So she has some status, but she's not that important.
Oh, can you
So
have
she's
no wings?
kind of low level. Yeah, it's possible.
Oh, interesting.
If you, especially, it's also possible to have them taken away, which is something that happens to another character that hasn't been introduced yet. But
Ooh.
but yeah, if you're pretty bad, they take them away and they throw you out.
All right. So, can you tell us what variants are all about? Just a quick summary, because we've talked
Yeah.
about Mikhail
So
before.
yeah, so we talked about Mikhail. So this is the same sort of person that Mikhail is. So they are sent to Indians on some kind of quest for the Celestial Plane, and at some time when they get there, either before or after, they get a mission and they act as agents for their world in the world of Indians. So the Celestial Plane is like right above Indians in the cosmology.
All
And
right.
so all of the kind of hopes and prayers and joy and happiness and etc. in this world kind of float up to that world and kind of work, I guess you'd say, like solar energy for their world.
I just
They
realized.
collect it and use it as a resource.
I just realized. Is this the Matrix?
No, not particularly.
All
Not
right.
exactly.
All right. All
But
right.
but yes, like there is some amount of human resources there going on there.
Literally.
For sure. Yeah. So in that sense, maybe a little bit, but yeah. So occasionally they send people down into this, into this other world to make sure that everything is going according to plan. And so Ray is sent as one of those agents, and she has been in the world for a long time now. And so but she hasn't received any kind of mission or any kind of thing that she's supposed to do yet. She doesn't really know why she's there. She's kind of just
There.
on call for the past 30 years,
Sleeper agent, of
waiting
course.
for well, not exactly like a kind of an open sleeper agent, but yeah, an unactivated agent waiting for some kind of mission. And so in the meantime, she's decided to, gather as much power and influence and everything as she can so that whenever she finds out whatever she is supposed to be doing, it will be, well within her grasp.
Oh, I see.
And so that's why she's decided to vie for the chancellorship. Controlling one of the most powerful institutions of magic in the world will make you pretty capable of getting anything you want to get done.
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
Yeah.
tell us about Ray herself. Like, what are her dreams? What are her likes, dislikes? Does she hate curry or what?
So she is a very, very cut and dry, very severe sort of personality. Kind of like a lot like the demons in that sense too, where sort of like this is what I need to get done, and this is kind of what I'm all about. She does have some sense of humor, but it's a bit darker,
I see.
and she's been a bit depressed, I would say, from not knowing what her job is for all these years.
Oh, so
So
she's lost.
she's starting to feel a little bit lost.
Oh man.
And so the distraction of becoming chancellor is a welcome distraction from just waiting on the phone to ring, basically.
I see.
So you kind of get this sense of somebody who is afraid they've been forgotten, and that's, I think, what her real psychology is kind of all about, is that she's afraid she has been or will be forgotten, and not be able to fulfill any greater purpose with her time in the world, and that really eats at her.
Wow, you're getting real on
Anyway,
me, Brad. What is
yeah.
this? You're getting real on
Well,
me.
you can kind of see it come out in her quotes and such.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow. So here's a question for you. Do variants? No,
Yeah,
variant.
Varians.
Variant is from Warcraft.
Not Varians. Varians are from Warcraft. Yeah.
Okay. Do variants have wild magic?
No, they're not. They're not native creatures, so they won't.
So they won't have wild
Um,
magic.
No, but they do when they. So when extraplaners die, they go back. They don't. They just go back to their home planes.
Yep.
So if you kill one of these, or a rasp or a doppelganger or whatever, they actually just get banished instead of dying. That's kind of the way that the celestial plane sends them, is they incarnate them on Earth, but then when they die, they ascend back. And so when they ascend back, they come back in glory, kind of like Pyre, if they completed their mission, and they receive a new set of wings and and like prestige in their home world.
But in their home world, they don't look like that, right?
No, they're well, we've never actually seen that place, so I can't say too much about it.
Ooh,
It's
spooky.
probably a different sort of place. Yeah,
Yeah, so it likely isn't just our world, but with lots of white, if you know what I mean. Um,
maybe.
so let's talk about her mechanics. So Raycal is actually two pronged once again because she comes from Argent, and she's also a BattleCon character.
She's actually not a BattleCon character yet. She was to be made available, but not. We didn't hit her stretch goal in this round of BattleCon Kickstarters. So maybe in the future she will be, but she is tested and exists.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like she's planned to be a release character. And I
Hmm.
know that she has a unique ability in it, and she exists. But let's talk more about her Argent side. So our Raquel is actually head of divinity, right? So that means she has blue mages.
Yes, that are either immune to magic or which get merit slots without using a merit badge in Argent.
Yep. So what's Raquel's specific power? Because each candidate has their own power, aside from whatever department mages they have.
Yeah, so Ray is able to heal her mages or to move her mages out of the infirmary back onto the board.
Oh, how much
Which
mana does it cost?
it's either free or it's very cheap. I believe it might be free. I have to double check.
Whoa, that's pretty good.
But yeah, but she very rarely has to cast the spell.
Oh,
So it's kind of one of those things that by its very existence means that you target other people,
yeah,
because if you just kick her guys to the infirmary, you give her an influence point and she still gets a thing that she wants. So you're basically just giving her free stuff every time you attack. And so in a lot of cases, it's like the best the best defense is preventative in
yeah,
this case, because she doesn't have to worry about that stuff because nobody wants her to cast this spell.
yeah. Because yeah, I can understand because it's a lot of resources. Of course, it's pretty slow. I assume.
Yeah, I mean it's a regular spell, so it's just like it's the same speed as everything else.
Oh, so that means
Um,
if she does want to take her guys out, she'll have to spend her entire turn just taking a guy out.
no, it's 1 mana and it's fast, and you just move a mage out of the infirmary back onto the board.
Oh wow. Okay, that's
Yeah,
way better
so
than what I
it's
thought
a
it
one
was.
mana fast action.
Alright, that's way better than I thought it was. So it essentially means, yeah, you'll never ping Ray's mages.
Yeah, unless you have no other choice or you really need the space that they're in.
Yeah. So it's essentially all of her mages, regardless of color, are pseudo green mages.
Yeah, almost so. Yeah.
Excuse me. Well, that's pretty interesting. So this
Yeah.
promotes a.
Are we? By the way, are we gonna play Argent again this week?
Oh, yeah, we're obviously. If you're listening to this, that means we've already played Argent. But if you're listening to this, that means we will be playing Argent. So
Yes. So we both will be and will have been playing Argent. It's kind of a timey wimey sort of thing.
wibbly wobbly.
Timey wimey. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep. Doctor Who references. All right. Let's talk about her BattleCon incarnation because I think while Argent's pretty cool and all, BattleCon actually gives us a window into the power set of this character, right? So from what I remember, from what was made publicly available about this character, was that she could set down markers on the board and they do stuff.
Yeah. So Ray is sort of is a trap based character, kind of in the tradition of Malandrax. But instead of her traps kind of doing damage to you the way Malandrax's do,
Malandrax.
they
Okay.
instead power up Ray. So every time you step onto one of her seals, she gets some kind of buff, and or can somehow interfere with you.
I see.
In that sense. So she does play a lot like Malandrax does, except that the traps remain on the board in this way that like Pendros's environments do.
Oh.
So she sets down these trap markers, and then when you step on them, they flip over and do a thing to you.
Do a thing to you or buff her.
Or buff her, right.
Yeah.
And those traps are single use, so she gets each one once per game.
Oh, and she gets 4?
I want to say she has a few more. I'd have to go into my future fighters notes.
Okay.
Which yeah. where I don't have right in front of me.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, like, but probably in the ballpark of like 4 to 6, right? She's not gonna have 8.
Yeah, yeah, it's somewhere in that sort of range.
Yeah. Oh, that's very interesting though, because you call them seals. And again, here we go again with this beauty of BattleCon design, wherein a lot of the characters of the same race often share similar mechanics. Mikhail also has seals, but his seals, he antis them so that he can get use of his really OP attacks. So what's it with these variants and seals? What's the lore behind that?
Hmm. I think it's more a function of holy magic than it is of their race. So there are only three. I want to say there's three holy characters. There's Magdalena, there's Eligor, and Mikhail right now, and they all sort of have this theme of of counterattack or containment or retribution. So with Magdalena, like she powers up all of her abilities. She has healing. She is kind of channeling this other force. And it's the same for Eligor. He's like his retribution tokens are allowing him to use the spirit of the sword he has to gain more defenses. And in Mikhail's case, he's actually breaking through to call power from the celestial plane. In Ray's case, I think it's more that they're like wards placed on the ground to like seal you in. And same way that like if you're like sealed in a magic circle and you try and push through, it's going to zap you back. That is sort of how that works.
Oh, I see.
I don't know. In development characters, you can't ask me too much about the lore because everything's subject to change.
Yeah, but hey, I mean, like, calm down. I'm not here to fight. You see, guys, when
Well,
the
aren't
wild
you?
Brad attempts to fight with you, you gotta play dead.
What? What is? Also, aren't you here to fight? Isn't that what BattleCon's all about?
Oh, right. Hmm. Pacifist
Yeah.
con.
See. Yeah. Passicon.
Passicon.
I
Yeah,
don't know.
that just sounds like Japanese for personal computer. But anyway,
Yeah, I think it is.
anyway,
Anyway.
um, that's very interesting. So before we end this segment, can you talk to us a little bit about divinity magic?
Hmm.
How does it work in this world?
Yeah. So the gods and Indians are kind of like these big, powerful vending machines,
What?
and if you do the right ritual in the right way, then miracles pop out.
Nice.
And then there's kind of this rewards program where if you do enough miracles with the same god, you eventually become a saint, and you get to do the miracles even easier.
Do they have like a
So,
Starbucks like stamp card?
not exactly. It's not quite that crass, but it is pretty crass in the way that it's like they in a lot of cases you do have to be a good person because that's part of these rituals. Like you have to not do certain things, you have to eat certain things or behave a certain way or do a certain series of prayers or rites or whatever rituals. But in a lot of cases, the gods don't really care about what's in your heart or what's in your mind or what you're actually going to use these powers for. Like they're
Oh.
just there to distribute powers to mortals.
So that
Um,
kind of explains how
so
Eligor can use
that's
holy
the
magic
so
despite being some arrogant little jerk.
yeah, you don't have to be a nice person to be in divinity, and not all the gods are very nice either. Um,
Oh,
like there are like divinity is really using these rituals. It's not about good or evil. It's about it's about ritual magic, um and communication with spirits and ghosts and that sort of thing.
I see.
So anyway, so despite the like the holy magic front that they have, um divinity is not necessarily a good art in Indians. It's just a ritual magic art.
I see. So like a mass murderer could technically use divinity magic if they did the right things.
Yeah, the right series of steps. And you could use divinity magic to contact, say, deities from other worlds, not just the gods of Indians.
Oh.
Um, so you could even use divinity magic to, potentially create a new god at the very highest levels.
Okay, wow,
Um,
that's insane.
But that goes back to the actual lore, because in the Dragon Wars, the gods returned, quote unquote, to Indians and slew all the dragons and made humans like the
Dominant
dominant race in
race.
the realm.
Okay.
So and the lore is that they had just been away for a while, but is that in fact the case?
Who knows?
Or did something else happen at that time which really swayed the outcome of the war? Well, you have to look into the extended universe and find out.
Oh wait, is this? Oh, and is this the entire dramatage with Kaons? Kaons?
No.
Okay.
No. This has to do with other stuff. But
Lore
we
hunters
will.
listening.
Well,
Lore hunters
yeah.
listening. Please tell me in the comments what it is. Brad's not telling me. He's being elusive.
Someday when we finish the VN, all will be revealed.
All will be revealed. And that pretty much does it for Character of the Week segment, where we talk about Ray Cal, divinity magic, and possibly murderers who channel spirits. If you want us to talk about any specific character or any specific Argent character, specifically Argent, because we're tying this to our Kickstarter, please tell us in the comment section down below. And if you were interested with Ray Cal and the implications of divine magic, do check out our Argent Kickstarter, with the links for which can be found in the description down below or the end of this podcast. So,
I should point out one more thing for the people listening. So the Celestials, like the Virians from that plane, they do not worship the gods of Indians. They understand them and they have a certain connection to them, but they do not serve them. They serve the hegemony in their own plane.
I see.
And that's what gives them their missions.
So they're not on holy missions. We're just being very clear on that.
No, they are on effectively government missions.
Man, angels in our world are pretty interesting.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so. All right, so let's move on to our next segment, our 99 questions segment, which I think will have us answering some hard-pressed questions.
Turning those hard-pressed questions into cold-pressed...
Cold expanded,
I guess.
Cold expanded answers.
Sure.
Yeah. So here's our expanded universe answers questions. Wow, this is really topical. This wasn't planned, by the way, because I had very little idea as to what the nature of divine magic was. But hey, Brad and Marco, do you believe in ghosts, spirits, or other supernatural beings?
That is a very philosophical question.
Yeah.
I think that ghosts are an interesting device to explain some of the way that things work, but I don't know that they actually exist any more than anything else. I don't know. This seems like a topic for an entire podcast.
Yeah. But we only have a few moments to answer, Brad. Go.
Okay. Well, so in Japanese, we have a saying. I think it's like ki ga noteru, where ki ga noru, where you're like riding the spirit, or like the spirit has control of you.
Yeah.
And it means like getting caught up in the moment, getting caught up in the place that you're in, or the feeling that you're in. And it's things like, I mean, it could be anything like a political party, or a church session, or a sports rally, or whatever. But you kind of feel that like when a lot of people get together, there is something else that kind of comes out of that collective enthusiasm, or belief, or shared purpose. I think that if that's about as close as it gets to ghosts in our world.
Yeah, I think I agree with you there. Like, who was it? But in like philosophical phenomenology, right? When you enter a relationship with another person, there is a thing that happens between you two, and suddenly your relationship isn't just you plus this other person. There's like this an entirely different thing that happens when you are with other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, kind of like you're
a gem fusion.
There's like you and other people, and then the relationship that you all have together forms another sort of identity.
Yeah, there's a difference between Brad. There's a difference between Marco, and there's a difference between Brad, Marco, and Brad and Marco as like a collective.
The Level Cap podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So
All
yeah.
right.
Do
I
I?
think it's too deep for board games.
Yeah. This is too deep for board games. How about next one? Let's make this about games.
Good question, though.
Yeah. It's a pretty good question. What, if any, miniature games do you play regularly? Does Argent count? Ayo.
Well, I like to think of Argent as a game, as a miniature game. It's more of a board game with miniatures.
Yeah, that's true.
As far as like miniature games, I played Cthulhu Wars really recently. That was a lot of fun. I've enjoyed the others. Um, I used to play in the past Anima Tactics, Malifaux, and Infinity. So I've played all those games, and I enjoyed those quite a lot. It's just I feel like miniature games, in general, especially tactical tabletop miniatures, are a little too much work for the output you get out of them.
Yeah.
Like you only get a certain, you only get a certain amount of gameplay, but there's a lot of work that goes in. And so if you really enjoy the like painting and building a lore for your army and like naming all your guys and stuff like that, like it can get really cool. But with all my responsibilities, I don't have the time to delve into a game at that depth.
All work and no
Um,
play makes Brad a sad boy.
yeah, so I just play my friends' armies and stuff when doing that.
I see. I see.
Yeah, that's how
I
it goes.
I play miniature games, but not like hardcore, quote unquote ones. Like the ones you listed, Warhammer, a bunch of other indiscriminate number of miniature games, right?
Yeah, I did play Warhammer 40K once.
Once. How was it?
Once, just once. I wanted to see how it was.
I love
I mean,
the lore.
it's real Battlefield. It's real. It's like, I mean, what's the word? I would say it's like turn of the century military tactics. Like units walk in formation across the field with rifles.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like a colonial war in that sense,
Yeah.
where it's just like all my guys march toward all your guys and shoot. But that's its roots, right? It comes from those really traditional colonial war games.
Yep.
Um, and it's a different way of it's a different way of gaming.
Yeah.
But there's certainly nothing wrong with it.
Definitely. I have a friend who's really enamored by it because of the lore, like you said, right? Like
Yeah.
they love playing orcs.
A lot of it has to do with the scale that you're interested in. Like I like skirmish scale because your individual units often have names and their own powers and their own specialties. Whereas in a game like 40K or regular Warhammer, you're on like unit level where you command a whole battalion that has several units of like 30 figures each in the battalion.
Yep.
Whereas opposed to like in Infinity, you play a spec ops team with like 7 or 8 figures.
Yeah, that's a bit more involved.
Yeah, but your guys can do crazy stuff. Like they can lay traps and they can like, camouflage. They can infiltrate the enemy team and disguise themselves. Like they do all kinds of stuff. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. So if we're talking about actual miniature games, no, I don't. I mostly play games that have miniatures, like Argent or Chaos Ball or a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, and so answer is no. Sorry. I think if I ever get into a miniatures game, as much as I got into BattleCon, I'd be poor. I'd have no more money left.
Someday we'll make one.
Oh no, Brad, please. My wallet.
Someday.
My poor wallet.
I don't know. Like I said, I have to play a lot more of them before I feel confident enough to make my own.
All right. And last question. If you could play any game with any people, past or present, real or fictional, what game would you play and with whom?
That's almost too open, I think.
Too open?
It's maybe too open.
Let's see. Just give an answer.
I think I think I would have liked to meet Sid Saxon and maybe play a game of Acquire or something with him. That would have been a lot of fun.
I see. My
Sid Saxon is one of the famous American designers who passed away about I'm going to say 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But he made a bunch of the classic modern games, precursors to our modern games. He made he made Acquire, he made I'm the Boss, he made what's his other famous one? Can't Stop. he did a lot of research and collected a lot of games, and he kind of had a big library of games from all over the world. He's one of the first people to be a real serious collector of the hobby.
Oh wow! So he's our grandfather, essentially.
In a certain sense, yeah.
Oh wow!
So another designer that I really look up to, who I will never get the chance to meet, unfortunately.
Sad.
Except as a ghost, I guess.
Divinity Magic. Huh? It all ties together. Okay.
It all ties together.
Okay. Look, here's the deal. I would want to play a game of StarCraft 2 with Oda Nobunaga.
All right, your answer is much better than mine. I see now what kind of question this was.
Yeah, right?
I totally missed it.
You totally missed it. But
I totally missed it.
Just think about that. It would be the ultimate shame for Nobunaga to just lose to me. Some esteemed general of tactics you are. I bet he just goes Terran and plays Bio. What a noob.
I don't even know what you said, but I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Oh, cool. I guess that. We still have the news. News 99.
Yeah, News 99. So let's end our segment. Let's go to our News 99, where we'll deliver our hot pressed news straight into the plates. That is your podcast playlist, so that we not gross this episode.
That was much better.
Much better?
It's much better. It's kind of like a blue podcast special, actually.
A blue podcast special, yes. Chef's recommendation.
Yeah. Anyway, so what's the news?
You first or me first?
I'll go ahead and get mine out of the way. Argent continues to be ongoing. Gen Con, if you're listening to this, then it's next week. We'll be at Gen Con, so come see us. Come play BattleCon Online, Pixel Tactics Online. Get the new Millennium Blades promo pack. Get a early copy of Celsor's Olympus. We've got a bunch of cool stuff this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, BattleCon and Exceed World Tournaments, and you can preview the Season 2 characters live in person at our booth. So
Season 2 of what?
All that cool stuff. Of Exceed. Season 2 of Exceed.
You mean season... Okay, okay.
Yeah, the Season 2 characters of Exceed. And in addition to that, BattleCon Online... closed betas will be reopening later this month after we return from Gen Con. Pixel Tactics Online will be moving to open beta very soon.
Yep.
And Seventh Cross is coming along excellent. I've got some new blogs planned for you guys. And we are planning to run Terran Encounters right after we get back from Gen Con, right after Argent ends. And then Imperial Spells and Steam later on in the year after Terran Encounters. So look out for those Kickstarters from us, and Seventh Cross will go up on Kickstarter when it's ready. I want to make sure that I've got enough content to show you guys kind of what the game's going to be all about before I go and put it up. So I'm not imposing any kind of artificial deadline on that. I'm just going to put it up when it's ready.
Because the moment you say it on podcast, it's real. It's like a contract that you can't break.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you edit it out.
Of course. I have that power. I am God of this podcast.
You kind of control the entire fate of level 99 games in that sense.
I can splice together words you say to make you say pumpernickel, Brad. That is my power.
Maybe if I use a certain ritual, like controlling your pay, I can.
Oh man,
I can demand miracles of this god.
Oh yes, that's true. I have a few news myself. Oh my gosh, man, controlling my pay is a pretty powerful ritual.
We should probably just cut that whole segment. The entire exchange could just be cut.
All right, I'll cut it out.
Anyway,
the power.
You decide.
You decide. Okay, listeners, tell us if we should have cut it
out. You have the power. Wait, you can't ask them if you're going to cut it because they will have already heard it at that point. No.
All right.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry. I'll cut that out. And the cough too.
I don't know. I'll leave it up to you.
Man, it's hilarious.
No polling the community.
We also have more upcoming Pixel Tactics Online hype videos. We will have, once Pixel Tactics gets up and running, I will probably start doing streams of that too. And if you're listening to this, we will, of course, be doing Argent streams every Friday, right?
Indeed.
All right.
Well, maybe not every Friday because we got Gen Con coming up, but every Friday that we have
Not
chance,
Gen Con.
we will, yeah.
Every Friday that we don't have Gen Con. So, does that end our episode, Brad?
I think that's it. I think we're good.
All right. So that pretty much does it for this episode of the Level Cap Podcast. As usual, I am very thankful that you have listened to our podcast. And you know what? Let's be honest. It's your podcast too. You, the audience, are like 50% of this entire thing. The other 50% is Brad and me.
Actually, they're like 25% because the questions is only 25%. I guess if you make a character of the week request, then you get to be 50% because you get to control 2 of the 4 segments. But if you don't make that request, you're only a quarter of the podcast.
But they can technically be 3/4 of the podcast if they give us Game Club game too. Well, does that mean they'll become majority holder of the podcast and we don't get to control it anymore?
No, it has nothing. Ownership has nothing to do with the intellectual content control.
All right. So thank you so much for giving us a certain amount of control over this podcast. And as usual, this has been me, your host, Marco De Santos, also known as the Mechanic Critic, and with me is my intrepid co-host,
Double intrepid, Brad Tal.
And we will see/listen/hear from all of you guys next week. Happy gaming.
Happy gaming.